Thank you. So today's session is an introduction to Databricks, and we'll see a brief of what concepts we are going to learn in Databricks going forward. And this will help you understand what Databricks is, why it is needed, and how it fits into the modern data ecosystem. Okay. We do have Databricks it works for the data engineering, data science, machine learning, BI analytics, or data architecture. We do have the agenda here. If you see my screen. So these are the topics that we are going to learn in all the classes. We have the architectures. We do have Lakehouse architecture. We have a Databricks architecture, Apache Spark architecture, Databricks workspace, governance, ingestion, and how the CI/CD works in here. How do we deploy the code from your one environment to the other environment? So Databricks asset bundles for that. How do we monitor and check the logs in the Databricks? And also like how do we optimize our jobs and how do we use it in the real world use case? Okay. So all of these we will cover going forward in our further classes, but I'll cover a few of the topics today. That is, we'll see what is Databricks, what is the Lakehouse architecture, Databricks workspace we will explore, and the community edition, how you can create a community edition, which is a free edition, and you can practice your Databricks work over there. Okay. And we'll see also the Apache Spark architecture as well. So first of all, we do have what is Databricks. So Databricks is a unified open analytics platform for the building and deploying and sharing, maintaining the enterprise grade data, right? This is a cloud-based analytics and a data engineering platform. So guys, Databricks is not a tool, is not a service. So before that, like if you are working in IT, you might know that you might have worked on some of the tools and services. This is not a tool or a service. There are some tools that you have worked on. We do have in the Databricks, we do have those tools and services that is provided on the Databricks platform. And this is a unified platform. What does unified means? That you have your analytics, you have your engineering, data science, all at one place. And the AI, the recently we are working on the AI also, that is all is on the one platform. Okay. We do have some of the key features of Databricks, which we can see. It does have some tools or services which is provided by the Databricks platform. We have Lakehouse platform, which is a Lakehouse architecture. What is it? It is a unified data platform which combines the flexibility of a data lake with the reliability and performance of a data warehouse in one system. What does that mean? So that means we do have the data lake and the data warehouse capabilities. If you know about the data lake we do have is the storage capacity on the cloud. If you have been working on the ETL tools, you might know that how the system is working for the storage. You do have you are keeping your storage layer on your local machines, right? On the cloud, we do have different storage capacities. If you know that we do have, if you are familiar with ADLS Gen 2, that is with the Azure, or if you are working, if you have worked on AWS, you might know about the S3 buckets. And if you have worked on other clouds, you know about the storage capacity. If anyone here is familiar with the storage on the cloud, can you please share your thoughts and can you let me know that how much do you know about the storage on the cloud? If you have worked on the cloud before.
At this Pranjal, yeah, I worked on the cloud and I'm familiar with Azure Storage Account Data like Gen 2.
Okay.
We are using like hierarchical namespace and we are using the mostly the Parquet files to store data. But yeah, it supports all kind of data types.
Okay. And anyone else here?
Yeah, same thing with the AWS, right? Like most of the
Yeah.
projects in our company is on the S3, on the AWS S3 bucket. So as
Okay.
per the requirement, we will add the storage for that particular project, and we will do that kind of things. But yeah, not much other idea about the other cloud technology.
Okay. Sure, sure. Yeah. And anyone else here who wants to
Like
share
it,
what do they know
it
about the
stores
storage?
the data in the internet platforms rather than storing in the computer storage.
Okay. Great. And
This is Kiran here. I've worked on Azure, so I do
okay.
have like little bit knowledge about Azure storage.
You do have, and you
Yes,
have worked on Azure, you said, right?
yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so what I mean to say is like we do have earlier, if you have worked on the on-premises tools also, the concept of storage was little different over there. They do have the data centers, they were storing their data or on your local machines or on their data centers, right? They require the data, the infrastructure. They require the infrastructure because and now we do have like there was databases like on SAN or NAS. Maybe you have heard about all those things. But now the story with the cloud is different. What happens here is we are data lake. We have the data lakes here. That means that we have storage on the cloud. So what does that mean? That means that the cloud vendors. We Some of you know about the AWS, some of you know the Azure, GCP, all of those, and there is a Oracle Cloud as well, right? So what happens is there is a data lake. Data lake is a storage system, is a central storage system that holds a large amount of raw data in its original format. Original format is like if it's structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. And this is very, we can keep our data at a very low cost. Okay, they're very cost efficient, they are scalable. If you use your storage, then only you have to pay. If you don't use it, you don't have to pay for that. Okay, and it keeps the it stores all type of data, like you have tables, you have JSON, logs, images, PDFs, videos, all of those. Okay, and we can ADLS Gen 2 is belongs to Azure. S3 bucket or S3, if you know, that belongs to AWS, and GCS is with GCP. Okay. So all of those storages, they can handle massive volumes of data very easily. They store everything in one place, very cost effective, and they are perfect for the big data, AIML, and any analysis we can do. Okay. So what that is the Lakehouse platform. We will be using data lake in there. There are few other things that we can add. We can have the data warehouse. There is a in the architecture in the Lakehouse platform, we do have the capabilities of both of those, the storage as well as the data warehouse. Okay, so that's why it is getting very popular. We have some implementations on the basis of a Lakehouse platform that we will discuss. We do have Medallion architecture. If you have heard about it, this is getting very popular, and Databricks is always encouraging Medallion architecture to implement in your data engineering skills. Okay, have you heard about it before?
Yes.
You heard about it. So what do you know about it?
Can you
So basically, the medallion architecture is like when you bring data as a raw into the raw layer, and then you
Mm-hmm.
cleanse and filter data into silver, and then you can modify or transform the data for your analytical purpose and put it into gold layer.
Yeah, right. Right. So this is a data design pattern in Databricks where the data we organize into three layers. As you mentioned, it's bronze, silver, and gold, to which we call, like, there are three layers in that architecture, and we are keeping the data to improve the data quality and the usability. So what happens is, like, in all three layers, we will do it in like more explained way later on, like in a proper, like how can we create it and how does it work, we will do it. I'm just giving the introduction because this is a part of Lakehouse platform. Okay, so Lakehouse platform, Lakehouse architecture, data lakehouse architecture, all of these are the same terms, they refer the same meaning. Okay, so three layers that they will explain: the raw and the unprocessed data. And then you have the cleaned and the deduplicated data, validated, structured. Maybe you can create a common data model to standardize your data in that layer. And then you have one gold layer, which is having your all of the aggregated data and the business ready data for your analysis, for your stakeholders, or maybe for your BI team. Okay, so everything at one place. All right, so next we have is Delta Lake for the ACID transactions. I will so Delta Lake is, if you aware, Delta Lake gives you some feature on the top of the data lake. Data lake is our storage solution. So on the top of storage solution with some features: ACID transactions, time travel, schema enforcement, and the high performance storage, it will give you that. Okay, then comes the notebooks. These are all the tools we have under the Databricks. Okay, so you might have worked on, like, the Delta Lake, you can compare with the storage you have used before. Lakehouse platform is like your storage plus your data warehouse capabilities, so you can compare with that. And the notebooks, so notebooks, they are notebooks we have is the collaborative notebooks, which is supporting 4 languages, and we can have your all of our development work is done in this section. We will see about it. We have the Apache Spark engine, that is for our processing of the data. We use an engine here which is used for our big data processing. Okay, then the Unity catalog. Unity catalog is that is for our governance. If you're aware about the governance, so we can have Unity catalog is the governance solution from the Databricks. You do have governance solutions from Azure, from AWS, or other clouds you have been working on. Unity catalog is belongs to the Databricks. Okay, so what is the specialty about it? This is a very important feature of Databricks. You can have the fine-grained permissions and the data lineage. These are some of the features. Any of you, if you're aware of data lineage, that you can track how your data is moving. Okay, in the pipelines, how your data is moving. Fine-grained permissions is like you can give the permissions to a table or rows and columns of a table at a very fine grain level. That means the fine grain level, because you can give the permission to the users at the column levels and the row levels also. Okay, and then is the Databricks SQL warehouse. We will see about it. This is for our analytics. This tool is for our analytics system. Whoever is doing the analysis, or whoever you want to work with the analysis team, or maybe in the analytics, they can use this feature over there. There is an autoloader for the ingestion of new files, that also we will learn. And there are Delta Live tables, which is like they are these tables are like your jobs and workflows, everything at one place. Okay, you just have to give some commands and your Delta Live tables will be working on your data to process from one place to the other place. Okay, then is the ML flow for your machine learning models. If you are working on any, all of those are here. And also there's optimization for performance, for security. Optimization will also learn. There are some commands that we can learn with the for the optimization of Spark as well as Databricks. So there are different features for for optimization. We can do at 2 levels, at Databricks as well as at the Spark level. Okay, we'll do. And we have, I will do Databricks Lakehouse architecture. We will see first. So Lakehouse architecture, as I have mentioned, that this is a unified data platform, which is combining the best features of data lakes and data warehouses into a single architecture. So you have the capabilities of data lake, which is your cost efficient storage capacity, and the data warehouse all together at one place. Okay, so you can store your structured, semi-structured and unstructured data on a very cost efficient way, and you can give a fast SQL performance, governance, everything in this architecture. And then comes our Databricks workspace. So workspace is the main thing that we will work on. I'll show you how to work on the Databricks workspace. How do you create it? There is a video here that let me show you that how to okay, so first of all, this is I am just going to show you on that this is a cloud native platform, so it's not going to, you cannot work on Databricks itself, you need a cloud for that. Okay, I will be working on the Azure with you, and whoever has worked on, do you know how to create the resources? I have already created one Databricks on it, and we can just launch the workspace here.
I can do the same thing in AWS, right?
You can do it, yes.
Yeah.
You need one, either GCP or your Oracle Cloud or your Azure Cloud or AWS, anything for that. Okay, so this is the workspace we have. If you want, I can show you how to create it, how to create the workspace. When you are going to your resources, you should have the resource group if you have already worked on. How many of you have worked in the Azure before?
This is Kiran here. I've worked on it.
You
This is
worked on it?
Pranjala. I have worked
Yeah,
on as well.
mainly data flows and pipelines. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, but do you know that how to create? Okay, Swati did not. So let me show you. This is your Azure portal. Team can help you if you want to create your own Azure account, or if you will work on the community edition, you don't have to create you do not have to connect to any of the cloud. Okay, but they have some limited resources. I'll let you know. Let's go to the Databricks, and first we will see that how does it look like, what are the components we have on the workspace. Sounds good? So you can see from here that this is Microsoft Azure, okay? And this is the workspace we have, that when you create a workspace, when you create in the Azure account, the Databricks looks like this, okay? So this is the workspace. First of all, you do have few things in here that you can see in the menu item. You have your home, workspace. Under the workspace, this is the main thing. You have repos and the shared and the users, and under the users you will get whatever the email ID you have created your account. It will give you the user to you. Okay, so what you can do is you can just right click on it, and you have the folders, notebooks, ETL pipelines, all of those menu items will be here. Okay, so let me create one folder here. Okay, so if you now see under this, you will get one folder. Okay, and under this folder you can create your notebooks, And what are the notebooks? The notebooks is, let me show you about the clusters also. So what do you have? These are all this is the place where you do all of your development work. What is the development work? You are writing your code, you are processing it, and you are running your jobs and pipelines through this with your programming languages. Okay. First of all, first thing have to be seen. This is called the code. But before that, we need to learn about the computes. Does anyone of know? Yes, Swati, it is. Yeah, so if anyone of you know about the compute?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what is it?
So compute is basically a kind of an engine which run your code.
Okay, which runs your code, right? That is correct. And anyone else here? Do you know about the compute? By the way, I have started it because it will take some time, and in the meantime, we can just discuss about the clusters. Anyone else in here who knows about the clusters? All right, so let me explain that. We do have computers. Let me create one here, and I'll let you know how we can create it and the configuration about it. Okay, this is the one. Databricks. There are some options you can see in front of you. Okay, this is the main thing that we have to create. So computer or compute, it refers to a cluster of virtual machines. Okay, that depends like what configuration you are going to give here. That it will show you that how many clusters do you have, how many computers or how many nodes do you have. Okay, so there will be cluster and compute. Both of these, they have the same meaning. Okay, do not get confused with that. Whenever you hear cluster and compute, they refer to the same thing. Okay, this is the one I am going to create here. There is what happens in here. There is typically a driver node that orchestrates the tasks, and there is one worker node that performs the actual processing. Okay, and together these nodes allow the Databricks clusters to run various workloads, any ETL, any data science task, and any machine learning applications. So this is the name. You can just give any of the name here. This is the policy. Policy about the compute is we will do it in explain. I do have one created here, but when we'll do the clusters, we will do it in explain way, that what are the meanings of those. Okay, so this is the unrestricted policy. I'm just going to connect, and here if you see all of those options, these are just the subsets of the unrestricted policy. You can select any of those, but the unrestricted one will cover every feature of this compute. Okay, then comes your machine learning. You can always select the machine learning, and if you want to work in the machine learning, so there are some there. You can always see here what options are available and why do we need. So far I do not need it, that's why I'm not going to select it. Okay, then comes the Databricks runtime. So what is the Databricks runtime? Do you understand about it? So Databricks runtimes, it will say, if I'm going to select here 15.4 LTS, what does it mean, guys? So LTS stands for the long-term support. It's always advisable to select the latest LTS. Why? Because the Databricks runtime, what it is pre-packaged image with all of the different Spark versions. Scala and Python and all other necessary libraries, plus all of the fixes for the bugs that are there from the previous versions. That's why we always select the latest one. But one thing, keep in mind, if we have the latest one, it will cost you more. I do not need the latest one. That's why I'm keeping the 15.4 one here. Okay. And if once we select this version, any of those, this image would be by default, it will install on your cluster on the workers and the drivers. So you don't have to worry about the different type of library installations in order to work. Okay. Next comes the photon acceleration. So what is a photon acceleration? This is the runtime engine again. Photon is the runtime engine that Databricks designed with the C++. And the benefit of this photon is that it gives way faster execution for the photon level jobs. This is an advanced topic. We are not going to discuss about it so far. I'm just going to unselect it right now. Okay. Then comes your node types. So node, as I have mentioned, is node means your machine, your virtual machine. It can be single node, it can be multi-node. Okay. If you will unselect this single node here, it will ultimately, you can just increase it. The worker nodes and the driver nodes, we will talk about it. So far, I'm just selecting the single node. Okay. So, and you can see the options here. Whenever you are selecting this option, single node or the multi-node, you will see different options here. All these options is here is the VM type, that is your office. So if I click on one, you can see lot of like options under the memory optimized. If you need your computer, if your work is memory required, or if it is compute optimized, or you have a general purpose, all of those, like there are different options for that can be selected as per your work requirement. Okay. It will give you the information about the VM, if this is how many memories and how many cores. You can just see it here. You can, for your practice, you can have just the minimum one. Okay. And single node is also like works better for you if you're practicing. But you can very well select for the memory if you required it as per the core requirements. Okay. There are another options that of course, like if you will be selecting more of those, you will be charged more on those. Just like on the right hand side, you can see the summary. There are how many memories, how many cores we have selected. Data access, we have Unity catalog enabled on it, and the price range is also given in dBU per hour as per your selection of your configuration. Okay. Now we have, other than this is the node type that we have, and this is termination. We do have, this is so this part, single node, this is for the auto scaling. So minimum workers and maximum workers means when you define minimum and maximum workers, maximum number of workers, your job will start with the minimum number of workers, and when the requirement increases, it will scale up to the maximum number of workers. Okay. Is anyone of you understand the concept of multi-node, minimum workers and driver nodes? Do you understand any of those?
Yes.
Okay, I'll take it as a no. Okay. Yeah, please. What do you explain? Like, what do you know about it?
So the worker node is basically take a command from the master node and the master node is basically distribute the work and collect the information back and send it to user.
Yeah, right. So that is the worker node and the driver node, the concept of the PySpark engine that we will learn in brief today. Okay, so I'm just explaining here that this is a single node, and if you don't select it, you can always have one or more than one computer here. Okay, and the memory and everything, like you can just select from here. Okay, So what happens is, like, if I uncheck the there is next one is auto scaling. So if you enable the auto scaling, this will give you minimum workers and maximum workers that I have been talking about, is like how many you can define that the minimum and the maximum. So minimum, if you have one or two corresponding to that, you can just select in your cluster how many maximum you need. And what does that mean? That your job will start with the minimum number of workers, and the requirement increases. You can scale up to the maximum number of workers you have defined, which is an important feature in the Databricks. And when you are unsure about the consumption required, that feature works better for us. Okay. And if I'm unchecking it, there is a single node, means there will be only one worker and one driver. And corresponding to that, when you are selecting your options, you can also see the price range here. The price will be increasing as your configuration increases. Price will be going down when your configuration gets down. Okay. Next feature we have is the termination here. So this is the minutes of activity. If we do have because your cluster, how much time your cluster is running, it will price you, it will cost you that much. So if you have I will always keep it at 20 minutes. If my cluster will be idle for 20 minutes, it will terminate itself. Got it? And for the all-purpose compute, this is the all-purpose compute, guys. There are three types of computes. And for the all-purpose compute, there is one more option, which is terminate after the time you give it to kill after being idle for that many minutes. Okay, it saves a lot of cost. Then we do have other options here that I'm not going to discuss. There is automatically added tags we have, and we have some advanced features for the Spark, logging, and init. So you can pass on to any Spark configurations, and you can just pass on any environment variables. Logging is if you want to save your logs into the DBFS. DBFS is the Databricks file system. Then you can select this option, and you can provide the path in there as well. There are options like you have this access mode. You have the access mode as well. There is this is like how the Unity catalog to which option Unity catalog can access your Databricks. Okay, but this is when we will do the Unity catalog, we will see about it. The logging is when you want to save your logs, and the init scripts we do not need to discuss about it. This is about the volumes, a new concept that we will do later. I'm not going to create this. This was just for the introduction of the cluster configuration. Okay, I do have one already with me, and this is already started. So we can go to our workspace and see, like in our user, if we can create, this was our folder, right? And this is the notebook I have created. You can just name it anything. Introduction to notebooks. Okay, so this is the notebook that we have. The cluster is like, and what is the concept of the notebooks? Does anyone want to explain here? What is the concept of the notebooks? So this is the Databricks architecture. What happens is when we are writing the code here, as I mentioned before, we are writing a code. We can use any of these languages here. SQL, is a query language. You might have worked on the SQL before. Rest, all of them, they are the programming languages. If you know about the Python, if you know about the Scala and R, all of those languages you can work on here. But if you are familiar with the SQL here, Just with one API, you can work on the SQL as well. Okay. And there is, here is the default language always we have is Python. Python is here, we have selected it for the whole notebook. You can always add a code. This is another cell where you can do your programming. Okay, so in the first one, I have, if I'm going to select the SQL, this will be, it will be taking default, by default, the SQL will be selected for all of my cells here. Similarly, if you want to change it for one of the cell, you can always change it at with the percentage Python, with the percentage SQL or Scala or R, whichever language you are familiar with, you can always work with that. Okay. Now what happens, guys? Whenever we have a notebook, right? So we are writing some code, let's say. If we are running a query, a kind of query against the data, we need an engine to run a script, which is the PySpark. And that's why we have created our cluster, which is already created, right? There's a single node cluster and a multi-node cluster that you already have seen. The driver node is responsible to distribute the data in the worker nodes, which is called the distributed process. And that is the basic concept of how the notebooks work, right? Notebook is only a text file. It's just a text file unless connected to a cluster. So when I'm connecting one cluster, this is the serverless, the default cluster. Whenever you are creating your Databricks workspace, the serverless cluster will be there already. Okay, but you have to work. There are some limitations for these clusters. You have to connect your cluster from here. That is my DLT pipeline cluster that I already have created. Let me show you about the configuration of it as well. I have taken the minimum configuration, that is 11.3 LTS, and I have just selected a single node. There is no photon acceleration. My cluster will be terminated after 20 minutes of inactivity. I did not connect any of these things here, and it is going to charge me 0.75 dBu per hour. Okay. There is one notebook I have connected to this, and this you can see here. This is the introduction to notebooks that I have already connected. Okay. But I did not have worked on it. So the status it says is just idle because we did not run it. Other thing, the libraries I have been talking about, the event logs, because we have not run anything so far. So we do not have anything for now. All these features are for the clusters that we will discuss in detail later on. First of all, we will go to our, okay, there is another recents here where you can just quickly go and open here. It will give you all of the notebooks, the queries, tables, catalogs, whatever you have created. You can just get them from here. Got it? Another thing is the workspace. The workspace feature is a recent feature which is added, and it will help you navigate within the workspace. The workspace, under the users, under our username, we have this folder. Okay. And in this folder, I have created one notebook also. So you can, that you can see here. Okay. So this notebook, let's say if I have just like any command, if I want to run here, are you guys aware of any of the Python commands like the hello world? Do you know anything about it or not?
Yeah, print, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Print, right? This is to print the data, right? So when we will run it, our cluster, whichever is connected to it, it will run. Okay. I'm just giving you one command so that we can understand other features in here. See, it printed the whatever we have given in the print command. Okay. So this is our first code that we ran in the Python language. Okay. So all of those, and you do have, there is another thing on the left side. If you see on the left pane, there are few features. Workspace is the one which is the main thing where we can explore the notebooks, the clusters, everything. There is another one, catalog. The catalog will give you all the volumes, your schemas, the meta store. You have the meta store in here. Do you know about the legacy meta store? The legacy meta store was the meta store Databricks was having before introduction of Unity catalog. Okay, this was the legacy meta store. And what are the features of it? Does anyone know about it? What is a
So
meta store? And
Metastore is basically storing the metadata about the Databricks. So all these tables and all the information you have, like
right.
schema and everything, it is getting stored into the Metastore.
Right, right. So Hive Metastore is the central metadata database that is storing information about your tables, your columns, schemas, partitions, locations of data, which is used by Apache Spark, Hive, and other big data tools. Okay. So in short, we can say the Spark, it tells us Spark what data exists and where it is stored. That is what the meta store is in a simple language. Like it tells us Spark where the data exists and where it is stored, what data is existing. And but this is called the legacy meta store. We do have, if let's say if your organization is having different workspaces, you should have different meta stores for that. Unity catalog has removed that issue. We will do about the governance and security later on with the Unity catalog. That will make you understand that why did we need the Unity catalog, what is the importance of that. Okay. So this is all, and under there is a workspace created here, and you have all your schemas. There are some schemas in here, and you can just see like what tables you have, what meta stores you have in this. Okay. And if we go to the notebook again, back to the notebook, you have some features on the right hand side also. These are the comments we have. The comments is like, let's say if you are working with someone and you want to comment on the notebooks, you can always do it here. This is for the communication purpose. If you are working on one notebook and you want to communicate with others, you can always leave your comments, and that will help other person to understand it. Okay. Next comes the ML flow experiments. So what does it do is like if there are any experiments being run, you can always see here. So far we do not have any ML flow here, so it will not show you anything. And we do have the version history, why I have created the notebook. You can see what we have done so far in here. And also, like as you go along, when you are building your notebooks, Databricks will take a version history of what you are doing. Okay. It basically automatically versioning your notebook. And if you want to go back to a version at a specific time in the past, you can simply go over to that version. And if you want to restore that, you will simply click here, like any of those options to restore that version. Okay. This is really handy, but this is useful when you are working in a specific notebook only. But if you are working in a team, so in a team, you always have to use Git for the version control rather than just relying on this version control that is just created by the Databricks for a single notebook. Got it, guys? Next option is the variables. If you to see if you have defined any variables, you can see that option in here. Okay, in the variable section. And also this is for the environment, which environment you are working on. This is for the serverless compute. We are not working on the serverless compute. We are working on our compute. So it doesn't work for us. Next comes the Databricks assistants. So this assistant will
So
help you if.
Simran,
Mhm.
when you mention in the work environment, when you go and working in the workspace for the particular project,
Mhm.
how are you managing your version? Because that there will be a number of other people who is also working, right?
That's what I mentioned before, that whenever
Yes.
you are looking for, you're working in different
Git.
environment, there will be number of notebooks, then you have to use the Git configuration for that.
So yes, Git configurations, you have to use it. So
Mhm.
how do you configure from here? The Git config, like, you just have to,
That we will do later on. This is
okay.
just, yeah, this is just the introduction session where I'm just
Okay.
introducing the features we have on the workspace, or like, the little bit things, so that you all can start it. We will
Okay.
do the advanced features later on, how to configure Git or other things also. Okay,
Sure. Thank you.
make sense?
Yeah. Thank
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So also like if you see, just 1 second, please. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, we were talking about the Databricks assistant here. So if you want to ask any questions, then the AI assistant you can ask from here, or you have other options. Like you can ask it from here also, and also like you have an option when you will run your code in the cell, it will give you. And if your code turns bad, like somehow something is wrong in there, you can always ask for the assistant is here as well, and you will get the option on the under the cell also. Okay, when your code is not running fine, it will give you how to fix the code. Okay, and also on the top of it, we do have some other options also, guys. How to schedule your notebook. If you want to schedule using the Databricks jobs or the Lakeflow jobs, here you can just give how you want to want to schedule. You can see all the options here, and the time and the time zone and the which compute you want to use and the optimization, everything you can see, and you can schedule your jobs from here. Got it? And also we do have the share option. The share option is that to how many users, like which users you want to share. If you want to share your notebook with any of the team members, you can simply go over to share, and then you can share with anyone with the access to this Databricks workspace as well. So the Databricks workspace is the one that you have to take care. If like you are working on the same workspace, you can just share your notebooks with them. Okay, so I think you have like a little bit knowledge about the notebooks now, the workspace. You have some features in here as well. There in the menu you can see many options for the import, export, for the Git also, scheduling, new notebook, dashboard, all of these menu items. We cannot go all over like to all of them, but I can explain you a couple of them. Okay, so you can create a new notebook from here just by clicking. You can have the notebook, and you can always rename your notebook by right clicking on it, and you can write the name here. If I say the intro. And also the other thing is that you can always like click on the name also, and it will select, and you can just write down any of the names on there. Okay, so these are few options we have. And there is renaming option is there. Exporting your notebook, you can export it to someone else, like to other places. And also you can import from your local machine your notebooks. There is someone who was asking about the VS Code and all, so you can just import the notebooks from there as well. If you have already created, you're working on Python on the Jupyter notebooks or anywhere. This is actually a Jupyter notebook. This is close to that. Okay, So you can just create, share, schedule, or you can change your default cell language from here. That I already have mentioned that you can select from here. There is another option, markdown, which is for your documentation. If you want to, we will do it in explain, more explained way. The markdown is for the documentation. If you want to comment on anything in here, you can just do it with the markdown option. Okay. Next we have is the magic commands we are not going to do. So we'll talk about the Spark architecture now. If anyone, like we already have discussed a lot about it before when we were creating the cluster, but let me explain you, like whoever doesn't know about it, who knows is like I think they know about the worker nodes and the driver nodes, but let me explain you in detail also. So cluster we have that we had it here, the compute, right? So cluster is a collection of the nodes. Okay, a Databricks cluster has one driver node and one or more the worker nodes. Okay, node basically is an individual machine, that is our virtual machine. So if you are selecting the single node or the multi-node, it will show you how many nodes, how many virtual machines you have to work with. Okay, so we are in Azure here. There will be one of the virtual machines on the Azure cloud. Let me open the paintbrush. Okay, so whoever doesn't know about it, they can better understand about what we were talking about, the driver nodes and the worker nodes. So let's say we do have this is our driver node, guys. And this is our worker node. Sorry. Okay, so this is the worker node. And this is again, we have the worker node. Okay, so this is the driver node and we do have two worker nodes. So what is the driver and what is the worker doing? We already have mentioned that the driver node is taking the instructions, okay, and it will distribute the work to the workers we have. Like it will not do anything else, it will not do, but it will distribute the work to the workers. Okay, so each of the Azure virtual machine generally have at least 4 if not more cores. In Databricks we have the driver, it runs its driver program in the driver node. This is the driver node and it will create the Spark context. Okay, the driver program drives the processing and it does perform any of the, it will say, it will see how many computation means how many nodes we require for our work. Okay, for example, it communicates with the cluster manager to allocate the resources and identify the number of jobs, stages and tasks to be created so that the work can be parallelized. That's how the work is called. This is called the distributed processing, that we have more than one computer. The single node, you remember we were talking about a single node. Single node was when we have one driver node, one worker node only. In that case, the driver will take the instructions. It will distribute the work to the worker node that we have just one. Okay, the work will be slow and it will not, there will be no parallel distributing of the work. There will not be distributed processing. Okay, so there is another one, executors. We will not talk about that. This is just a basic concept I wanted to show you. And we do have the virtual machines. There is one virtual machine in here. Sorry, not like that. There is one virtual machine in here. And these are all our virtual machines. Got it? And this is how the Spark, the compute works. Okay, so when we do the data processing, it will there will be another concept is the executor, which is doing all the processing as well, the read and write data to the external data sources. Okay, so driver is the one which runs the application. When driver gets any work, like any the code, when we run the code, it creates an application here. Okay, and when you execute a command in the Databricks notebook, it runs an application on the driver, and application is divided into the jobs and the stages and the task by the driver program. Okay, Spark does this to get as much as parallelism as possible. Okay, so I'll show you when we will start working on it. I will show you that how the jobs are divided into the stages and into the tasks. Whenever you run the driver node, when it will start distributing the work to it, the work will be under the stages, and there will be the job when it comes. Let me write that as well here. So we do have jobs, and this is just the basic knowledge. If you can understand a little bit about the concept, that will be good. And there is another stage we have. And this stage, there will be tasks to that. So this is how our work is distributed. There will be tasks, and again there will be tasks. And also in this stage also we do have the tasks. So do you understand the concept that how the distributed processing of the data helps in Databricks to do to work faster on the big data? Or if you have big data, terabytes and petabytes of data, that how they can handle it very quickly. Do you understand that? Okay. No, yes, anything?
Yeah, yeah, pretty good.
Okay. Okay, that's good. So any questions, guys? Do you have any questions for today? We are going to just wind up now, but if you have any questions, I can take that.
I have a question regarding creating the Databricks account. So if you
Sure.
create a Azure account, you will get access to the Databricks. Is that correct?
Sorry, I did not show you that. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so we do have the link here for the community edition. Okay, if you want, I can just copy and paste it in there. I can send you in the chat box. Okay, so this is the link. Try Databricks. You can just go there, and when you go down, this is the community edition or the free edition you can have for your personal use. You can just create it.
Is it the
It will
same?
take you to, sorry?
Sorry, is it the same what you are showing on your computer?
No, I was showing you see, there are some editions. We do have different editions for Databricks. This is the free edition. Community edition is the only edition which is free. The one I was showing you, that was the Azure one. If you want help on that, team can help you creating the Azure free account, but that is only for the 30 days. The
Oh,
community edition we have is the that is provided by the Databricks. Databricks have enterprise level, premium, standard, all these editions, but these editions are paid ones. This is the free one. This is like and there is no limit for it to be 30 days or 3 months or 6 months. Some of the features are downgraded in this edition from the paid version, so that like you have limited computer sources, and also it gives you access to a single node cluster only. Okay, but we can use that cluster to learn Apache Spark, and just like you have to go to this link, or if other than that, if you search for Databricks Community Edition, Databricks Community Edition, all of these links, if you open this, all of these links will take you to the same place. Okay, will same link will be there. Okay, so you just have to sign up with that, and when you continue, you don't have to like connect to any of the cloud with this. This is just independent. Continue with the email. Okay, so what will happen is, after you sign up here, your Databricks will send you an email for you to confirm that you are registering for the Databricks community account. When I'll fill it up, it's,
yeah, I think this is good. Yeah, I can take it from.
you can take it from there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's
Sure.
great. Otherwise, like your team can help you if any time you want. And let me just show you that how does it look like. That's
Okay.
only I wanted to show you. See, if you see, this is Databricks free edition. It looks the same. Everything is same. The compute is already created as this is by default. It is already created, but there are the features are little downgraded. That you have the cluster size is small, and there is a 10 minutes of inactivity. It will auto step. It will terminate the cluster, and the scaling, for scaling you have just one worker node and then one driver node. That means you have a single node cluster in here. Okay, you can always start it and then start working on it. Everything looks the same. If you see in here, it says Microsoft Azure, and this one will say Databricks free edition. That's the only difference we have, other than some of them, but this is free, and you don't have to worry about
Oh,
like about any payments. Also, it will not ask you any card also.
okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
anything else here? Any questions? I do have some questions in here in the, okay, let me send you in the chat box. I sent the link also.
Okay.
All right, if there are no questions, we can just wind up for today's class.
Okay, thanks, Imran. So tomorrow we'll have next class at same time and same link.
Okay.
So
How
please,
about
all of you join there. And and
Saturday,
next,
Sunday? All
no,
Saturday,
for
Sunday?
time being, there will be 2 to 3 classes. So tomorrow we'll work on the plan.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Thanks, man. Thanks,
Thank
everyone. Thanks,
Thanks
Imran.
everyone.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.